If you're a teacher who just finished off your school year, you're probably thinking, yes, it's summertime, I get 2 months off, time to relax and do me and do all of those things I never had time for before. Well, guess what? You still got some work to do.
What? Don't get me wrong, you need to relax, and you totally deserve it. But there are some things that you can do in the summertime that you might not have time for during the school year. So those 2 months that you have are a great opportunity to do some things that'll help you for the fall. If your summer plans consisted of you laying on your face for the entire 2 months of summer, that is totally okay. No one is going to judge you. You, amazing teacher, educator, person, spent this school year juggling so many things and dealing with many different issues that were out of your control that if you wanted to just do nothing, you totally can do that. Another thing that you can do this summer is go through all of your teacher boxes. Now, with COVID-19 and everything that's happening, we have been told that we have to take everything home. All of our personal stuff, anything that belongs to us needs to go home. And although it was like a huge ordeal, it was also a blessing in disguise because I was able to then get rid of stuff that I haven't used in years. So this summer, if you are in the same situation or maybe you're not, go through all of your teacher boxes and just see and take a look at things. My kind of rule of thumb is if I haven't used it in 2 years, then I'm getting rid of it because we all know teachers are hoarders. We love to keep everything, and teachers who retire love to give young teachers everything. So then you're stuck with not only your stuff, but then a retired teacher's stuff too. So you need to go through all of that, get rid of what you don't need, keep what you do need, and you'll be so much more organized and you'll be thanking yourself in the fall.
I'm trying that YouTuber trick where I change locations in order to keep my audience captivated. Is it working?
One of the things that I'm doing this summer is taking a professional development course. Now, these courses are offered throughout the year at different times and even multiple times throughout the year. But I just find that if I'm trying to do professional development course during the school year, plus holding a second job, plus, trying to keep up with the social life and my personal life, it's a lot to throw then a professional development course on top of it. I try and reserve my PD for the summertime where I can really focus on it and give it my all. And the other thing that I'm doing to stay organized this summer with my PD course is making sure that I have something to keep track of assignments, keeping track of when I have to comment on posts or email my professor and all of those things. So this is actually one that I customized from the Parfait Ma Parnell planner, and I just made it custom for each week that I am in this course. My next tip is to look through your books. I know so many teachers, and including myself, are guilty of buying books because you've heard of it on Instagram or somebody recommended it to you and you've bought it because you've heard it's great. And maybe one, you've never read it, or two, you haven't used it or read it in a long time. With everything that's going on in the world right now, we want to make sure that our classroom libraries are filled with inclusive materials that represent our students in our classroom. So if you're pulling out all of your books and you realize that you are missing some target groups in your school, then you need to make a list of all of the books that you need to get in order to fill your classroom library. This summer is also a great opportunity to read, reflect, and grow. With everything happening in the world right now, as educators, we need to show our allyship and our support for movements like the Black Lives Matter movement. It is very important that we do this because we teach the future. Our students are the future of this world. If we want to make sure that the future is one that is inclusive to all people, no matter their skin color, no matter who they love or who they wish to be, then we are the beginning, we are the start, we are what is going to make that future better. Because by educating ourselves and by reflecting and learning and growing ourselves as educators, we are then going to be better for our students, not just for teaching them, but also for being there for them when they are having issues or when they need someone to talk to. You don't need to wait for some PD to be developed or even spend a lot of money. There are so many free resources online. There are so many great speakers and activists and articles that you can read to better educate yourselves. And then if you do have the money to spend, there are great books out there. There are great programs and lessons led by people
who are part of the movement, who are at the forefront of this movement, who can then teach you how to be a better ally and help you understand a little bit more how they are feeling right now. If you are like me, your downloads folder, your desktop are a disaster. This summer is a really great way for you to organize your computer, get your files set, and for some computers, they actually slow down a lot if you have too much stuff on them. So my other tip is then to get an external hard drive. This is the one that I purchased. This is just from Amazon. It's super cute and small. I also bought these adapters off of Amazon as well, but I like to store majority of my files on the external hard drive and then only keep essential things on my computer. And while you're doing that, go organize your drive. I know it's a mess. Another thing to do this summer is to update your resume and cover letter. You have just added another year under your belt. You have learned so many things, you've done so many things, and it's important to add those things to your resume in case you do end up applying for a new job elsewhere. Also, make sure you get a friend to review yours. My resume was terrible, but then I got someone I trust to look at it and honestly tell me that it was terrible. This tip applies for both permanent teachers, full-time teachers, contract teachers, but also for substitute or supply teachers as well. If you are a permanent teacher or full-time teacher, you have a sub-plans binder or plans, notes and things that you like to keep all together. And if you are a substitute or supply teacher, then you are usually told that you should come in with a binder of sorts that has activities in it. So this summer is when I like to take the time to look through my little binder and see what activities the kids did and they enjoyed and what activities they didn't like, and maybe things that we haven't done I want to keep in there and just update it with new things. If you are a substitute teacher or supply teacher, it's important to know that you should come prepared with something, because sometimes if there's like an emergency situation or the teacher wasn't able to come to the school to prepare things, that you have things already ready to go. I am in the process of revamping this, so I can share like a tour of this on Instagram or something later, but I'm currently working on making this. And then this I really love. I just made this actually at the beginning of this summer. And essentially what it is, it's like all of those little things that you might forget to tell a teacher. So for example, passwords and logins for the computer, for attendance, for the photocopier. You know, usually these things are just like jot notes on the top of your plans. So I figure if you have something like this that you can print and laminate and keep for the whole school year, then it's totally worth it. This one, a little calendar for your duties, and then as well a weekly schedule, what the end of day procedures are like for all the students, and then a map of the school. This one is blank because it was just like my tester one, but my idea is to have, you know, if I'm away and I have a supply teacher, they've got this with all of the essential things that kind of don't change in my classroom or don't change throughout the day or year. And then this to help guide them as to what the plans are, and also some extra worksheets and things for early finishers. If you are a new teacher or maybe you're a substitute teacher, you want to absorb as much information as you can so that when you have your first full-time or permanent job, that you are ready to go. The summer is a great time to see if you can go for coffee with an experienced teacher, or meet up with them, or email them and ask them questions like, what are interviews like for full-time or permanent jobs, and what kind of the questions they ask during those interviews. There's also a great opportunity to ask about long-range plans and short-range plans, and how do you plan for things with the curriculum expectations. They are a wealth of knowledge and they are always willing to help. So while they have time and while you have time, it's a great chance to connect and talk about those things. So my last tip for this video is to take a look at Teachers Pay Teachers and start adding things to your wish list for the following year. A lot of us already know kind of what we're going to be teaching in September, and there are obviously some things up in the air as to how the school year is going to look like and all of that, but there is no harm in looking at great, dynamic, engaging lessons, activities, and, you know, work that you could provide for your students. I know myself as as a TPT seller, this summer I'm thinking about how I'm going to make lessons for my students and also for my store that are going to work in class, outside of class, virtual learning, all of those things. So I would suggest kind of looking through and seeing what people are creating and adding them to your wish list so that when that TPT sale happens in August, which it happens every single year in August, you will be prepared and have a bunch of things ready to go on your list that you are looking for.
All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video this week. It was super fun for me to film and take notes on some of these things that I want to do this summer as well. If you'd like to follow me on my teaching journey, you can follow me on Instagram at musicpluscoffee or subscribe to this channel so that you can see more updates, more things that I'm doing in the classroom this summer and just life in general. So have a great day, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.